You have to find out whether how is your thinking. So that is why homeopathy is so important. How your thought is, you are thinking. So Hahnemann explained this in terms of the miasms. Because our thinking is influenced by the miasms.
And give examples through his living.
Yes, through his living. So therefore thought, because why thinking is so important, Master Jwalkul said, energy follows thought. Energy follows thought. So if your thought is harmonious, then this energy following this harmonious thought gives a good balance for you and the environment. If you entertain an evil thought in terms of suspicion, or there are many types of things, hate, suspicion, all these things, then this energy which is following these thoughts will damage not only that person but then environment also disturbed. So therefore wrong thinking should be rectified at the first thing.
The point is, when we see something in the world what is not correct, we hate the person.
Yeah.
We have not the right to hate the person, you should hate the deeds.
The deeds, yes.
Try to contact the person and help that he does not continue
Yes.
in this way.
Otherwise there will be war.
Hate the person.
If you start with hate, it leads to war and destruction.
Because he is a brother of us.
Yeah.
So we have to help him.
So now it is time for our lunch break. So we gather here once again at 3 o'clock. Now we go directly to lunch.
We go to at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Health science, the law of right relationship. Law of right relationship. So in the study of this these laws of right relationship, the emotional causes of ill health, that is what we are making a special attention towards, the emotional causes of ill health. In yesterday's class, I explained about what is emotion, which is comparable to the disturbed condition of the water of the lake. That's the example. When the water of the lake is not disturbed, when it is still, then it can reflect whatever is there in the sky as it is, without any distortion. But if the water is disturbed, then the dirt and the mud of the water is mixed with the water, and therefore the reflection is distorted. That is comparable to the emotion. So when the emotion is still, like the water, then your mind is pure. The mind, because the mind is the reflective principle, that we have to remember. We have to always correlate these sciences. That is why moon is, in the planet moon is considered, is explained as the planet which governs our mind, because moon is the reflective principle. Moon reflects the light of the sun. In us also, our mind reflects the light of the soul. But if there is emotion influencing the mind, then the reflection is distorted. Then the activity of mind is totally distorted. So that is the emotional causes of ill health, that is, they are being explained here. It might be stated as a basic generalization that most of the physical troubles, they have the seat in the emotions. Most of the problems of the physical body most of the sufferings of the physical body and the physical plane, they have their seat on the emotions. The origin is in the emotion. So unless you have a proper rearrangement of the emotion, you cannot get over the suffering. This is very much proved, well proved. You can prove by yourself also. You can make a self-testing, and it can be proved by yourself. Whenever there is an emotional disturbance, where does it end? It ends in any sort of physical suffering. It is invariable. So what are these? The most common causes are It means the emotional disturbances. They are fear. That is the foremost cause is fear. Then worry. Despair. Constant introspection. Morbid emotional suppression. Then hatred. Conflict. And then temper. And then prolonged irritation. Prolonged irritation. Frustrated sex life. self-pity. Yes? Yeah, I am going to explain everything. And then inner tension. Emotional starvation. So these are the various disturbances. They form the emotional causes. You see, first is fear. When you have constant fear for everything, this fear is reflected in, it is manifested in different forms of fear. First is fear of death. Most of the persons are haunted by the fear of death because they have no proper understanding about death. Fear of future. Many people are very much worried about their future. You see now, in the present generation, I don't know how it is in your countries, but in our country I can say, all the young people, they go into the education and they complete the education. During the education they have fear of success. Always they should do what they have to do, the work, but always have a fear whether I will be successful or not, whether I will get the top marks or not. They fear always. After they pass the examination, even if they get the good marks, then they have fear. The next fear is if I am selected for a job or not. When they are selected for a job, then the next fear is whether I can fulfill all my desires in my life or not. They're stupid. So the whole life is under fear. Never he is free from fear. You got a good marks, you got a job. Even the job also, you see, I see many young people in our country. Generally there is such a type of practice that when still the young man or woman, still they are in the final years of education, already these companies come and make a selection. It's called campus selection. So these companies come and make a test and select them and then promise a job immediately. So the moment you complete the degree, you can join the... And it becomes so that those who would not get selected in the campus selection, then they are so much disturbed. See, it's fear. So they are selected, I was not selected, so whether I will get a job after. But now he has to complete his education, this he forgets. Due to this fear of future, you forget what you have to do now. You miss everything what you have to do in the present.
You cannot really live in the now.
No.
What is the base?
Because what is going to happen in future is only the result of what you are doing now, logically. So your future depends upon how you are in the present. But you are losing all the time in the present, you are not living in the present. always thinking of the future. So it's ridiculous. So always in fear. If you get a job also, still the fear is there. What is the fear? Whether I get promoted or not. All this is because of the spirit of competition, once again. Underlying is the spirit of competition. I should be on the top. That is there. And the fear of losing. The fear of losing. All this. So fear is manifested in many, many different ways in the human life. So when you have fear, then your life is not of the real quality. Always you have fear in mind. How can you be peaceful?
When you talk about this, when you talk about fear, for me, and all that you're writing, it's not emotions, it's feelings. Because emotions and feelings, no, it's for me. I'm working. It's separate. So.
Feeling and emotion.
Yes.
Yes. The feeling is not the real feeling. When emotion is working, when you are under the influence of the emotional disturbance, then your feeling, your experience is not true experience and not true feeling.
So the first emotion, if we say emotion, yes, if we come to follow we're following in feeling, yes.
Your experience, because what is all through every moment in our life is the experience of life, experience of living. So this experience is not a true experience when your emotion is not balanced. It is not a true experience. And this ill balance in the emotion is expressed in all these things. It is the emotional disturbance is expressed in all these various types of. These are the experiences. You experience fear. Why you experience fear? Because of this wrong emotion. It is emotion.
What she's referring to is that in psychology or in medicine in the West, emotions, there are only 6 or 8 emotions, which is happiness and life.
Happiness is not emotion at all, wrongly understood as emotion.
Yes, this is the Western emotion, which lasts only for up to 10 seconds. After that, it's called feeling.
Happiness is not at all emotion. Happiness is the real, it is the real experience. That is not emotion at all. That is the wrong understanding. Happiness? Happiness is the real existence. Happiness is the real existence. When you have happiness, you don't need to have a fear. If you are really in happiness, then there is no suffering. That itself is a proof. Whether you are in real happiness or not is proved. Whether you are experiencing suffering or sorrow or misery, then it is not happiness. Because if your happiness is attached to some person or attached to some object, if your happiness is dependent upon a person or object or anything, then it is not happiness.
But for me, it's still like the becoming. I have to listen.
Yes, I will show you exactly how you can understand happiness in Mandara scripture itself, very clearly, very clear. If you read this, then it will be very clear in your mind about happiness. Because what we call happiness in our